Hey guys, hope you all are doing well. Quick update here, just to show you how I install the setup I was telling you about in my last video, and also kind of give you a review, if you will, on how is it to live with this kind of setup 1 year into it. So first things first, just a quick reminder how I got here. I soon realized that I'm going to run out of space to install OEM looking switches, like all of these ones here. So this is kind of how I come up with this setup. Now I'm going to run you through the install. So this is the screen. Obviously, it has a 3D printed bezel, adjusted a bit, just to have a snug fit. Painted in black and nothing too very special about it. Now let's go and have a look at the engine bay. Here we go. Right there. So in the engine bay, first things first, we have a ammo box, which has all the electronics like the relays and the two UPS type batteries. We have a fuse box which comes out of a Mini Cooper. I guess this is as reliable a Mini Cooper is going to get. And then we have I added those, we call them copex here, where all the control wiring and power cabling is going. So this is going through the back of the car into the screen. Some of them, this red wire comes from the main battery. We have a circuit breaker here. Don't worry about these wires being too thin. I'm not pulling too much amps anyways. Here in the fuse box we are having a couple of relays. One of them is the VSR, voltage sensing relay, being controlled by the Arduino, so he's monitoring the voltages and then he's deciding to close or open depending if I'm charging or not the second battery. The other one is one of the other relays is if I want to charge the main battery from the second battery. Can't remember what is the third one for. Anywho, for the white ones are the main battery fuses, so anything coming out of the main battery which is being supplied. All the other accessories, we'll go into details later. And the other five, which are not marked, they are for the from supply accessories coming from the second battery. So I just realized I have here a fuse chart. Yeah, it's a good thing to have it done, because I tend to forget what are they for. Anywho, so having this back together in the ammo box. So right here we are having the relays, as you can see, 16 of them, and there are another 3 of them living in the module underneath. We have 2 of these batteries. They are 9 amp hours, so pretty, on the small side. Nothing too big. It's more like a pilot, this whole thing of mine. And underneath you can see another battery, and then kind of the electronics. And I'm not sure if you can see through that hole, that round hole. That's where the programming port for the Arduino is. Right. So this is kind of how the engine bay looks like. Try to keep it as OEM as possible. Yeah, that's pretty much it here. Going to the back of the car. In the back I had some outlets for the accessories. So one of those outlets is for this fridge. So what's going on here, I 3D printed this, I guess this is like a holder, if you will, for your TX60 connector. So I did that. The reason I have this is because before this fridge I had an absorption kind of fridge which he drew like a lot of amps, and I was not really comfortable with the old-fashioned 12-volt sockets, that they will be up to the job. So I dropped this in here. It's a bit overkill, but it's all right. So this can be supplied from either the battery, and it's all controlled by that screen, from that screen. I'll kind of run through all of that later. And here I'm having some USBs, and then some your 12-volt socket, and these two can be supplied either from the main battery or the second battery. And this is kind of how it got installed. Now let me go ahead and show you how kind of everything works. Just before we do that, let me just raise this up so we can see whenever the fridge goes on and off. Cool. Right, once we got here, let me just go ahead and start kind of everything up. So go to ignition, keys in, I guess, ignition, radio start, kind of, you know, boot up on everything. So now I can just start my car, and the good thing about it is that the radio doesn't really shut off when you do that, because this was not the case with the kind of standard wiring of the FJ. Whenever you want to actually start the car, your radio will go we shut down just to give more power to the starter, but that's kind of overkill, and I kind of want to avoid that. So what's happening, the logic in the code is supplying the radio to the main battery for a duration of 5 seconds, and if you don't really start up in 5 seconds, then the radio will turn off and all the juice will go to the battery, to the starter rather. Right, so what you have here, you have your you have the screen, as probably saw in the previous video, and as you go here you can read the voltages on the main battery, which is up here, and this is the voltage on the second battery. Now this icon tells me that I'm charging the second battery. Right, then from the second battery, if I'm going on the main battery, which is up here, what I can do is I can turn on the fridge in the back. So as soon as you do that, you could see the fridge coming kind of online. So he'll start running. So obviously I can do that. I can supply it from either my main battery or from the second battery. So if I do that, now it goes on the second battery automatically, and this one goes low. So you can't supply with both batteries at the same time. So I think that's kind of a good thing. What else you have here? So you can basically do that with your fridge, with my fridge, with my rear accessories, and all of the others are not really installed. Now on the second battery, real quick, what we have there is we have the fridge. We can charge the main battery from the second battery, and this is where I can change my radio to go to the second battery all completely. So I can, if I do this, I can remove my main battery, the radio will still go on. And this is basically going to turn this on, which is right here. It will have this on from the second battery, and you can leave something in the car charging while your car is locked, and you don't have to have ignition on or anything like that. And the other thing I did here is I added this traction control. You know, I was telling you this is kind of everything started. So if I do this, if I press this for just before I do that, let me just show you how nothing is on my dash right now. No warnings or anything. So if I do and I hold this for about 3.5 seconds. So as I'm holding this, you see how these lights came on. And if I now go and press this again, you see how they disappear. So this is kind of how everything started. So this is my traction control. This unlocks my rear window, so I can do that from the inside. So as I do, I'm not sure if you heard it, but now my rear back window is kind of released, so you can just pop it up. There you go. Night mode, this is just in this version I didn't really manage to finish that, so this is kind of how it's supposed to look. And this is just sending back to the splash screen, which proved to be very good, especially during the night time when you're driving, because this proves to be a bit the screen proves to be a bit bright. What this does, so reset all whatever I'm having on. If I hit this, is going to turn everything off, and that's kind of that. Now let me go ahead and give you a 1-year review on how is it to live with the system, what I like about it, and what I'll probably want to have to improve on the next version. So first off, I like that I have this 5 seconds delay for cranking when the head unit is basically being supplied by the main battery. And this proved to be very handy, especially since the screen is kind of tilting, and when so the screen doesn't have to go to this booting session kind of twice. So let's see. So this is something that is pretty nice. So before that, I kind of had this going twice, meaning it was booting up, the screen was tilting and all of that, and then I had to, start the car, and then starting the car, this was going back again, and it was a hassle. Cool. So this is something I like very much about it. The second thing that I like is the rear fridge arrangement. I like that I can control from the screen how I get to. I mean, whenever this fridge is on and off. I also realize that I'm aware now on where my battery sits, if it's charging, if it's not charging, or what's happening there. So I like that. The other thing is I like this back window thing where you can open the window from the inside. So that's also very nice. And then now let me just go ahead and walk you through what I probably want to improve on the next one. The first one is I need to find a way to have this kind of in a memory. So whatever is being so if I make the selection from the main battery and I decide to have this supplied from the main battery, if I'm stopping in the gas station and I'm turning off the car, once I'm coming back, if I don't turn this switch, if I don't press this button, it will not supply my fridge it won't work. So it happened a couple of times where I forgot to do it, and then all of a sudden, hey, 1 hour into the drive, I just realized I haven't connected the fridge. So I will have to address that. So that's one. The other one is that my fridge is started. The other one is that this battery is pretty small, so I'm having about 18 amp hours, which probably I can get about 9 amp hours out of it. Right, so I'll have to find a way of installing a bigger battery, maybe a lithium iron polymer. I'll see. The other thing is I realized that even though it seemed nice, having this function where you kind of charge from the second battery, the main battery, didn't really work. I had the issue when my battery kind of ran flat, being old and everything. So I tried to charge it from the second battery. It did something to it, but not enough to have to start my car. So it could be that the second battery was a bit small, but I'll have to address that. And I guess the last one on the list is the fact that when you're driving during the night, this proved to be a bit brighter, so it's a bit distracting. So the way I was going kind of around it, I was just having this splash screen, which is I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's a bit darker. I realized that I never actually use this dim function, because you don't have time to when you're driving to try to figure out how you dim it. So I will try to fix that bit. Other than that, this is kind of how my install looks like, and this is this is kind of the review. Let me know what you guys think, and if you have any comments, questions, drop them in the comment section down below. Take care, you guys. Cheers.